Hello, everybody. I am back from the National. Needed a couple days to get my feet under me, get garden updated, and caught up on all the house stuff. And right now, I really want to put all this stuff away, so I need to do the recap video. Normally, I do a series of videos. I do like friend gifts and overall experience and pickups, and I kind of divide it out. But really, this is going to be a one and done. So I am going to put some time skips in. If you just want to see cards, then go to the one that says cards or pickups or whatever. So I'm going to start out with general national experience. Uh, then we'll do the gifts and goodies that I received, the pickups, and then I want to do the autograph experience separate, because the autograph pavilion is like a whole different experience. And then probably some final takeaways. So I arrived on Tuesday afternoon, just missed being able to go pick up my credentials from the airport. Were it not for a delay, I would have been able to do that. But I stayed with Dave, Legends of the Dugout, and Adam, Vintage Sanctuary at the Westin, which is about maybe a little under a mile walk. And Tuesday night, I had dinner with Matt, the card story, and his family, and the three of us. And last time I was in Chicago, I didn't get to have deep dish pizza. So I thought, well, I want to do that this time. And apparently, according to Tony Black, Chicago native, we picked just about the worst place, Giordano's, which was right by the hotel. But maybe next year I get something better. By the way, surprise meeting of Tony Black at the Wednesday night get together was one of the highlights, because we've been virtual friends for 7 years, and I walk in the thing and whoa, there he is. So Wednesday morning we got our VIP pass, and then killed a couple hours, and went back when we were closer to the VIP party. Out front, we immediately ran into Scott Stooks, and he gave me this super cool George Washington pennant. I did a real deep dive on George Washington this year because I was teaching American history, and I just really got into George Washington. So it was apropos that he gave that to me, and of course, being from Washington State, works out beautifully. The VIP party was good, real crowded. And I noticed a bigger corporate presence, even at the VIP party. There was a booth or a demonstration every couple feet along the outside wall. But I got to spend a lot of time with those back pages at the VIP party, and Adam and Dave and myself and a couple other people were chatting him up, and that was great. As far as the show goes, there's not much about it I would change logistically, except for maybe some things of the autograph pavilion, but more on that later. Prices were what I would consider high. I think everything was priced like at the high end of comps. And one thing I noticed in years past is that dealers would usually, if you offered 15% of the sticker, they would come back and give you like between 8 and 10. This year it was more like 5%, if that. They were more married to what they had it stickered at. And two real popular dealers that are popular among YouTubers were basically a hardline 5%. And it stopped me from buying one card from someone, but I still bought from someone else. So, I mean, I guess it all comes down to whether or not you want it or not. You want it bad enough. As far as the gifts and goodies and presents go, I mean, I am overwhelmed with this stuff here. So I really hope I don't miss anybody, but I'm just going to go through the pile and show you what I got. So right when I got there, I'm going to minimize my notes here. Right when I got there, before we even got to do anything, Dave had got a Mitch Williams autograph because he checked in during the time frame where you could get Mitch Williams, and he didn't feel like he needed that, so he gave it to me. Also, way back at last year's National, he mentioned if I had any Ken Griffey Jr. candy bars, and I said no, I did at one point, but who knows what I did with them. And he said, well, I can get you some. And I said, sure, I can find somewhere to display them. So, and I had forgot about this, but one blue, one yellow. Thank you, Dave. Let's the dugout. He's a very generous guy. And then later, I'm going to show you a card that's a pickup. But I had mentioned this Frank Robinson card would go good with this other card. And he found Frank Robinson, 67. Maybe some foreshadowing if you know what I collect. Adam into Sanctuary. Someone left these on a pile on the floor, and he gave them to me. A couple Cal Raleigh cards. Thanks for thinking of me, Dave. And Dave and Adam did this together. So I finished my 64 top set, which was a goal. Awesome. Except at one point, I just needed one card. And so while I was at the autograph pavilion, Adam and Dave were running around asking dealers for this card. And they found one, and they went in together and got it for me. By the way, I'm not going to talk too much about prices unless I accidentally do it. Mostly because it just doesn't matter really what I paid for stuff. It's my collection. Sometimes I mention it, it just kind of slips out. But Whitey Ford, at the time I got this, it was the last card I needed. And so I'm going to put a special notation on here on a Post-it from Dave and Adam. I was really excited to meet in person. Oh, well, I met him before. Steven, Math Bowler, one of the great autograph collectors on YouTube. At the VIP party, when I first saw him, he gave me this Harvey Haddock's index card. Hopefully that's not too washed out. I'm gonna my brightness here. Yeah, you can probably see it. But this is something, I don't know which company did this, but they're called In Memory Of. And they're numbered, this one's 4 of 10. And he said he has another one. So we got 20% of these accounted for. And you can see these on eBay, but basically it's like an envelope. And then they stuffed an index card into there and give the slab treatment. Very cool. Also, I mentioned to him later that I wanted to rejuvenate my TTMing. He said, well, you can start with one of the greats. Steve Blass gave that to me. And then we were in line to get autographs at the VIP party. And I had actually sacrificed hitting the floor a couple minutes late to get these autographs. But this one I brought, and I wanted to get Jerome Walton for the 91 Stadium Club set. And I got him to add 89 NL Roy, which looks great. And I'm standing there, and basically you go and get all three at once if you have 3 items. So Steven got out of line and had Brian pop his cards. It was good to get to know him too, kind of hold a spot. And he had a couple extra cards that he slipped me, so I got the other guys too. I got Greg Jeffries and Cecil Cooper. And if that wasn't generous enough, Steven still was getting me stuff late in the show. I think this was on the last full day. Never seen these, never knew they existed. And the dealer probably did not expect to be selling this at the show. This is a Mariners pencil. You can see Matt Young. And sure enough, Mariners there. Mariners yellow and blue. I've never seen this before. Yeah, I can't read like the year. It's 18 of 36, and it has a series on here, but it's worn off. Very cool. Mookie Chilson took care of me. He found a Harvey Haddix with, it's a little subtle, but the teeth and the eyes, the whites of the eyes, are kind of pinned out. So someone did not do Harvey any favors there. But I do have room for this on my Mookie Chilson inspired pin board. Thank you, Mookie. Some channel cards. Come on. Kabumi from Petty. And it's got the caricature on the back. The signature Reindeer Studios style. Mark's Dodger cards at the get-together on Thursday, I believe. Well, maybe it was Wednesdays. There's so much stuff going on, it's hard to keep track. Said, hey, have you found your Grail yet? And I said, oh, no, I already bought it earlier this year. He goes, well, in case you didn't, and he gave out these Monty Python Search of the Holy Grail cards. And on the back is the dialogue between Lancelot and the Bridge Keeper. And I don't know how he got so many of these, but he gave out quite a few. More channel cards. Big Scott, great Simpsons inspired. I gave out the one I gave out last year just because I had so many and I didn't have time to do anything else. And the creative juices aren't really flowing here. Jason and Finley gave me their Sandlot Dreams, kind of more of a business card. But good to hang out with them again. Finley, your pin collection is very cool. Thanks for sharing that with me. This is Brian, Papa's Cards, who came with Stephen Math Bowler. He's a great collector. He made one heck of a trade. Go to Papa's Cards to see that. There we go. And here's the front. It is vintage inspired. What would you call that? Kind of looks like an O-back. Looks like an O-back. Yeah, good stuff. Another Pittsburgh guy. John Wade Boggs fan. Very nice looking Gaudy 34. Is that the one with the guys in the back? Why not? We're going to say it is. Got a really great picture taken with John last full day of the show. Check it out. There's John. I saw someone else had one of these before the National, and I grabbed Drew and I said, you give me one of those stickers. I need one of these, the Card Farmer sticker. And I promised, Drew mentioned how much he likes my driving videos. So I promised him one before the end of August. Okay. So, and I think I promised that I would not just take my normal route or route. We say either here. We can say either because either is correct. So do you want to see ocean, lake, river, mountains, fields, or volcanoes in your, because we have them all here. Victor, the rookie card specialist, he had a little grab box. And I think black was the most common, and then blue. And then I think he had something in there that was a 101, but I got the, oh, hey, it's numbered on the back, 200 for the blue. And I already have a rookie card sticker, so I might put that one on my water bottle. And then Stuke, in addition to the pennant, gave me this exhibits card, since that's sort of his specialty. He gave out exhibits cards with his channel card. And what a great way to do that. On the back, least I forget who was so generous to me. He also did me a huge solid, you'll hear about in a minute when we get to the pickups. One more gift, or I don't know if it's a gift. He says he gave it to me because I helped him with Advent. But, I mean, I would have done that anyway. But I got some things from Don't Talk to Robots, Sports Flip Pack for the pack collection. Some Rickies. Boom. A Jackie. By the way, it is a free Jackie year. If you don't know what that is, stay tuned. More on that later. Some Don't Talk to Robots. I know I have the hot dog one, so now I have two. I can stick one, and I'm not sure about the glitter one. A Ricky poster, a nice note, and here is the ornament from day 19, which is the day from which I made a video to help. And I think this is really awesome. Thank you, Doug. We are now to the pickups part of the video. I'm going to group these by collection just so I can keep track. I thought about doing them in order. I thought about doing like sort of a value thing, but I had them sitting here in groups so that I could get them put away. And honestly, I don't even remember which order I got a lot of this stuff in. So you heard me mention the 64 top set and the stacks right here. So the main card I needed was the mantle, and I was looking for a 1, and I found a 1. It is in a holder. It will be cracked out. It's, for a 1, it's a decent card. It has, clearly has a centering issue and a couple creases, but I'm pretty happy with it. Right, same dealer, I pay for this. He looks over, I look over. He has another card I need. He has the AL Bombers. And he shot me an offer on it right away. I said I needed it. I'm like, sure. Forked over the money. And I got looking at it and I thought, this is really too nice of a copy to be cracking out of here. So later, I think it was later that day or maybe early the next day, I found a better binder copy. So I will be leaving the AL Bombers in the case, and I'll put it on here, up here on the Hall of Fame and cool cards section. So I also got Warren Spahn, Willie Stargell, and Bob Uecker. And then in addition to these and the Whitey Ford that I showed earlier, which was the last card at the time that I got it, 64 top set is complete, about half signed, half unsigned. I should do a showcase of that. That might be more than a 1-parter, because I would probably want to go through the pages and show you what I have signed and what I don't have signed. One card that didn't really fit a sub-collection other than I just always thought it was great and wanted a copy for my wall was the 62 home run leaders that shows the 61 home runs by Maris. Also has a mantle Killebrew and Jim Gentile on it. I just thought this is a great card to own. And it's the only one that sort of seems like an outlier for everything else. But I do just keep cool cards up here, and so still goes in the collection. That was supposed to be part of a bundle with this other card, which is probably my biggest, well, it was my biggest pickup. But the dealer was not willing to come down on this card, and it still has a price tag on it. I'll leave it on there, whatever. So this was stickered at 100. And he said, well, I'll do 80 on that, but I'm not going to move on this card. And I said, okay, well, I still want it because by then I decided this was going to be like probably my biggest individual purchase. And I'd circled back to it after, well, it might have been the same day that I first saw it. But it was between this and something else. And then when Stan wouldn't come down anymore on the Cracker Jack, then I hoped he was going to. I went right back, pulled the trigger on this, and this is a 67 tops Brooks Robinson, high number, and that sticker there is the exact green high comp from recent sales, and the guy didn't feel he could move off of it. The market's strong. I had the money. I want the card. I thought it was gorgeous. It's The most expensive card in my Brooks run now, because I didn't even pay this for his rookie. But I have it now. It's in its home, and I'm excited about it. So, one more thing for the Brooks collection. I only got two things. That, and I've been looking for a Topps Bucks for a while. This is one that just seemed like it was at the right price point. When I bought this, I think it was the last full day. I think it was on Saturday. I was getting pretty low on funds, so I passed up one that was $65 that was maybe slightly better, and I got the $25 one. Here I said I wasn't going to talk about cost, and then I am. Okay, for the Glory of Their Times collection. This was my second biggest purchase of the show, but it's a beautiful copy of this card. It can be had for 40, $50, even less if you want writing on the back. But it presents so well in the SGC holder. It's going to go up and just be displayed in this room, so I want it to look really nice. And it does. This is the 36 Gaudy wide pin Paul Wainer. And I said I wanted to get one Hall of Famer for the Glory collection. And that's what I did. And it's really a stunning copy. I don't know. I don't want to say it's hard to get a Gaudy wide pin into 5, but I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. And the dealer knows that too, and it certainly wasn't free. Another thing for the Glory of Their Time collection, I got two more things. The same player, and I bought them from the same dealer, different days, because after I bought this exhibits and paid for it, he pulled out this other thing that I'll show you in a minute. And it took me 2.5 more days to go back for the other thing. But this is George Specs to Porsche. I looked up the phonetics on how to say his name. And he claims the first position player to wear glasses in the major leagues. There was a pitcher that debuted right before him. And this is long before like shatter resistant glass, and people didn't think he was going to be able to even play, but he had a pretty good career in St. Louis there. And he's got a really good chapter in Glory of Their Times, very motivational. So I paid for this almost right away. This might have been my first thing I bought, because it was the guy next to Dave's friend Mike Pike that had it. And I got told him why I wanted it for the collection. And then he opens up a notebook binder, and he flips around and he pulls out this magazine or newspaper leaflet. I did a lot of research on, so this is a Rochester. So after he left St. Louis, well, he was demoted, but he liked playing in Rochester because he could play all the time. He very quickly became player manager. After his playing career was over, he went into the front office, so on and so forth. But this is clearly a Rochester, either a newspaper insert or magazine. It does have a hole here, but I cannot find this anywhere on the internet. Nowhere on eBay, nowhere on Google, nowhere. So I had to go back for it just because it was cool. I love how much more detail you get in something oversized like this versus the exhibit. I mean, I can see all the character in his face. So that's it for the Glory collection. The Wainer and the 2 Specs cards. Other than the gift from Math Bowler, I got a couple things for the Harvey Haddix collection. I upgraded my 54. This was a value box rummage, $7. And it doesn't have any wrinkles or creases. And it's way better than my existing. And then I found an autographed postcard that I didn't have. I think I have 5 or 6 Haddix postcards that are signed now. Didn't have this one. Price was right. Happy to do it. When I do my autograph pavilion autographs, by the way, look for those time skips if this is wearing on. There's some Hall of Famers in there, but I straight up purchased a couple Hall of Fame autographs too. One, I've been looking for a Fred McGriff, and when he first went in, you couldn't really touch his autograph for less than about 70 or 80 bucks. And this one, numbered to 50, was quite a bit less than that. And it seemed like the right card at the right time. So I pulled the trigger, and I got a screaming deal on a Cool Papa Bell index card. And I noticed he always signs like up along margins. You'll never see a Cool Papa Bell centered autograph. But this is one of the stronger Cool Papa Bell autographs I've ever seen. I sort of like the green. Green pen gives it a lot of character. And happy to add Cool Papa Bell to the Hall of Fame autograph collection. One thing for the players from Washington State collection, Earl Torgeson, value box rummage. I think I bought this when I bought that Harvey Haddix 54. Another bespeckled baseball player. And I was able to get a lot of cool boxing stuff. So there was one booth, and if you were there, you all know what I'm talking about. It was basically exhibits and postcards and oversized rummage booth. And then it had some older publications and stuff too. And man, it was tough to get in and out of. And if I brought, I don't know, I could have spent way more money there. There's Hall of Fame autographs of guys for 10 bucks all day, but I picked out mostly some boxing. And they did have some regular size stuff there. I got this George Carpentier, who was one of the great French boxers of the early 1900s, and was the world light heavyweight champion for about 2 years. Didn't have any cards of him. Jack Dempsey defeats Jess Willard. This is a postcard that Jack Dempsey gave out at his restaurant for, I think, like 20 years. There's a couple different backs to this, but this is the one I have. And I always like this. I know some of the other guys in the boxing group already have this, so I was happy to join the club. I got this on half off day, so that was $5. First off, another shout out to Stuke. So Saturday morning, my last full day, I wake up to a text that shows this, and it's Stuke in the boxing group. And he just said something like, I forget what it said. It might have just been a picture. And I thought maybe this was just a general share. I didn't realize that he'd picked it up at the show. And when he learned later that day that I had been chasing this, and I really have been rather aggressively. This is who I collect. This is my main. This is Joe Jeanette. He let me have it at cost, and I was really happy to do that. Lost out on one for a lot more than $10 on eBay a couple weeks before the show. And the reason I showed you this before this other one here is because it says one of the big four of colored boxers and one of the best. Jeanette was born, yada, yada, yada. So the big four colored boxers. They are Joe Jeanette, Sam Langford, Jack Johnson, and this guy. I got this on half off day. I have been looking for a Sam McVeigh item for 3 years that I liked, and this was perfect. Focused. No writing on the back other than it says 150 here in pencil. Oh, and there's a date, 29/2 something. So that's the big four. If there was a big five, it would probably be Harry Wills, who held the colored title, what they called it, the title that Jack Johnson vacated when he became the heavyweight champion of the world. Guys like Jeanette and McVeigh and Langford and Wills fought for this colored title, and Wills had that title for a couple of years. So I was happy to get that. At the same booth on half off day, $5 for Big Fights little book, and it's full of really great photos. I have to go, I'm going to look at it closer in a little bit, but I have to be very careful because the spine is whatever, 80 years old, 70 years old. And I had to be careful, but I thought that would look great with the boxing display I want to make eventually. And I'll just have to figure out how to do that. A few more boxing cards from a different dealer. This about put me out of the convention. I think I walked away with $30 after this. But these are T218, which is a mixed sports set. I only collect boxers, and I collect both backs, Hassan and Mecca. And the goal is to get every boxer, Hassan and Mecca back. These are all Mecca backs except for one card. And I'll just go through them really fast here. They were only $10 each, but most of them are really good. Dave Deschler. And I should do a showcase of all these someday too. Leech Cross. Young Donahue. I can't even read this and I don't have it memorized. Jack Goodman. Like the color on that one. Dick Highland. The only one that's like has a solid background, I believe. I almost thought this was a T219 when I got it because of that background threw me off. Young Nietzsche. I'm not sure what his philosophy on boxing is. This is, oh, hold on here. Knockout Brown. There's a couple guys named Sullivan. Mike Twin Sullivan, and he has 2 cards. And then John L. Sullivan has 2 cards. So I need four of each of those guys. Unk Russell. Okay, we're getting there. Can't read off the front. Al Kaufman. Burp, burp. Abe Goodman. Other pose on Goodman. This is Johnny Summers. Look at that, the red and the green punching bag. These are just beautiful cards. I decided to do this many years ago. There's Patsy Brannigan. And it's very hard to just come across a stack like this, which is why I emptied my wallet. 2 more. Young Lowry. And then Jim Stewart. Okay. So, did I miss anything for vintage? I didn't. It's time to go to the autograph pavilion. So I paid for 3 Hall of Famer autographs, and I got those. And then I got an autograph of a guy that was free in my VIP package. Chuck Knobloch for the 91 Stadium Club. I got him, I was probably one of the last people to come through line, and he was very tired, and he did not look like he had a good time. He thanked me for only having 1 card, gave me a fist bump, and then he kind of put his pen down kind of like that. And then I got, well, it looks a lot like Carlos Lee's autograph, but it was, part of the package. And I do understand that It's a long day. People like these other guys are probably used to doing autograph lines of hundreds of people. Let's do these in order. So on Friday, I was happy enough to get Cal Ripken Jr., and I didn't have him on anything prior to this, so I was able to add him to my spreadsheet of new Hall of Famers. And this one I did have TriStar sticker. If you don't know, I'm working on getting all the provisions that I can get signed, and I'm making pretty good progress. But Cal was very nice. I did not get hypnotized by his eyes. I just glanced and looked away. It's kind of like looking at the sun. You just have to get a sense of it. And that way I didn't get like entranced. I was pretty nervous, but shook his hand. I wanted to shake this guy's hand too because of all these fantastic plays he made. And the play that made him who he was diving to his left, ball takes a bad hop, reaches up, grabs it with his bare hand, fires to first. You already know who it is. The Wizard, Ozzie Smith in a wizard costume. Now, way bigger Ozzie Smith fan now than I was going into the National, because to see the time that he took to do this autograph, it was like he was trying to pass a penmanship test. I mean, even the O, it looks like O and then another half of a swipe. Nope, it was a full circle, and then he added the, line to make it a crescent, and then Z, Z. Anyway, this is not slop. This is real nice stuff, and very happy to pay for that and get that. And lastly, I didn't have like a project card for this guy. I wanted him in a Giants card, so I just found something I thought would look good. Might be a little dark in spots, but new to the collection, Jeff Kent autograph. It'll go up on the wall there. Of the card's not in the case. That's autograph wall, Hall of Fame autograph wall. And he was really nice. I told him I thought he did a great Hall of Fame speech, and I asked him about his truck, and he really lit up. And so we got to have a little tiny conversation. I don't know much about trucks, so I just nodded and smiled, but got a handshake out of him too. And that was it for the autograph pavilion. I did get to spend a lot of time with Stephen Math Bowler and Brian Papa's cards there. And the autograph pavilion is you have to experience it to understand it. But it's a lot of people standing around. Sometimes their number won't be called for hours, but there's still this drive to be like right up against the entrance. So now your number's called, your ticket range, and you're back just because you don't like to be feeling like a cattle. And then you have to get through this ball of people to get to where the autograph lines are. And I don't know what drives people to do that. I don't know what would help. I don't know if TriStar even cares. I suspect they probably don't because it's not really costing them any money. But that's the one thing. I don't mind waiting. If, Ripken's autograph signing starts at 2 and I don't get my autograph till 3:30, I'm fine with that. But just the lack of order to it from the everyday person that doesn't understand, just stand back a couple more feet. They're not getting in any faster is, I guess, what I'm trying to say, but maybe they don't think that way. Really cool. I did see Frank, formerly Baseball Hall of Fame autographs and Sports Card CPA, and I think he might have changed his name even one more time. But I saw him working for TriStar, running around doing some stuff. So hi, Frank. It's good to see you. You look, you were hustling. But that's it. That's everything that I got at the show. I don't really have any parting words other than the National is a great time. There was some people that were gone that I very much missed. There were some surprises, both good and bad. Absolutely plan on going again. Man, this hobby is stinking strong. I have to imagine the amount of money that went through that building last week is greater than some countries' GDP. Uh, insane, insane, insane cards, insane prices and people. I don't know if I commented on upstairs earlier, but you guys have all heard this. It was probably better than last year, but still not a good experience. Um, at least there were some chairs off by the stage you could sit in, and if you wanted Korean candy, you could have done that. So overall, I really don't have any complaints. Anything I might complain about is just beyond my circumstances, like people not being there or whatever. But great time. I'm going to start recharging for next year. I got 11 months and 3 weeks to get my head straightened back on, and we'll do it again. But thanks for watching. And until next time, remember, we don't count subscribers, we count friends.